Hello. Okay, let's see. I think I am officially live, but Facebook hasn't given me the final word. Okay, it looks like now Facebook is working. Hi, I am also live on Instagram as well. So I'm multitasking here. I have you both live. So if you see me looking straight this way, I'm looking at Facebook. Otherwise, I'm looking at Instagram. So hello, hello. So glad to be here and chat with you guys today about this topic. So give me 1 second. Pulling up my notes here. Okay. Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know who I am, you're like, who's this chick? My name is Allison, and I am a backpacking educator and empowerment coach. And I am the founder of the blog She Dreams of Alpine, which is an outdoor adventure blog. And I'm also the creator of a coaching program called Become an Outdoor Backpacking Badass, where we teach our students how to become safe, confident, and self-sufficient outdoor backpackers. We focus particularly on women and underrepresented genders and helping you guys feel like confident in your skill sets and hitting the trail. So that is who I am, just briefly. And today, the topic that I wanted to tell you about, what I'm going to be talking about today, is how I used backpacking to reinvent myself. So, okay, I'm this very visual learner in person. So I flow well when I think my thoughts through and write them down, process them, and make them more tangible. And so the other day, when I was thinking about how I wanted to approach this topic of like reinvention through backpacking, I wrote this whole thing down for you. It wasn't how I originally thought I wanted to present this topic, but it's what came to me in that moment. And I don't choose to question inspiration when it flows. So I hope you guys really enjoy this because I poured a lot of thought into this topic and how I wanted to teach you guys about it. So let's just dive into this concept of reinventing ourselves through backpacking. So it might sound a little bit weird, like reinventing yourself through backpacking, but just bear with me as I walk you through this concept and how it's played a huge role in my life personally and making me the woman that I am today. And just allow this conversation to be a seed of possibility, like an idea, a curiosity. Because for me, like, there are all these ideas flowing out there, ways of being, like career options, ways to live your life, adventures you can go on, creations that you can bring to life. And maybe you floated into my world for whatever reason, like you saw me on Instagram, you followed me on Facebook, you read one of our blog posts, whatever it is. Maybe the only reason that I'm here for you and your life is to present to you an idea and a possibility and a way of being that maybe you haven't considered before. So for me, the thing that literally drives me every day is sharing this message and idea of backpacking, but more specifically, the idea of reinventing yourself through using the skill of backpacking. I remember when I told him I was starting this business, and I remember my dad asking me, like, wouldn't I get tired of talking about backpacking so much and so often? And the answer is no, because for me, it's so much more than that. And you're going to get an idea of that by the end of this discussion. But for me, backpacking was one of the ways and tools that I used to reinvent myself several years ago in 2013. That's when I was first introduced to outdoor backpacking. And when I think about like turning points in my life, especially ones that were more like conscious and less reactive, backpacking is a very concrete like turning point for me. So if you've ever read the book Big Magic, it's called Big Magic. It's by Elizabeth Gilbert. She talks about creative living beyond fear. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it, even if you don't consider yourself like a creative type, because I love love the way that she talks about curiosity and ideas. So in her book, Elizabeth Gilbert talks about how ideas, and let's just extend that to possibilities, how they just exist and just are. They exist in the world. And they come to us as an idea, a thought, or like a curiosity. And in those moments, we have a choice to partner with that idea or curiosity or possibility, and we have the choice to bring it into our reality. Or we can dismiss the idea and like move forward with whatever we were doing. And the idea will move forward, the idea or the possibility will move forward regardless if you decide to partner with it or not, to find itself another partner to bring it into reality. And I love this concept that I learned from her. I love this concept of like partnering with an idea or a curiosity or a possibility. And I think about it a lot now. In her book, she talks about this concept in relation to creation and ideas and creative pursuits, but I think it's equally as applicable to like possibilities and ways of being in our life. So there are all these ways that we could be or exist in this world. Like it's so fascinating, all the different careers and life paths and all the things that you can do as a human. And when I stopped to thinking about it, people show up and exist and live in this world in so many like wild and unique ways. What I didn't realize until backpacking entered my life, though, is that me personally, like I actually had some say about which possibilities came true in my life. I think like originally when I was younger, I would think to myself, like, I am who I am. These are the cards I've been dealt, and I can't just like change who I am. I definitely like believed that concept. Like, this is who I am. I have no say. Like, it's just how it is. But what I began to realize through backpacking is that actually I can be different than who I thought I was. And I can be someone I never imagined was possible for me. So let's get less theoretical and let me back up and tell you my story a little bit. Some of you may know it a little bit. I'm going to tell it in a little different way than I have before. But if you knew me when I was younger, I was definitely like a box checker. I was an A+ student. I was from Texas. I became a wife at age 19 because it's just what you do in Texas. You get married young, you have a boyfriend for a long time. I became an engineer in college, you know, a good, respectable career path. So I thought, and then on track, I was like on track to live the rest of my life, like checking off all the boxes that I thought I needed to check off to live the right kind of like life, a successful life, as if there was a right or wrong way to live the life that was mine. I just think when we're younger, we're kind of presented with this like limited thinking life plan from our education, and we don't even bother to question it. Like, do I even want that? Like, is that something I really want? Often we don't ask ourselves that question. So it was like a solid career path, a strong retirement plan, kids, a house, a marriage, old age, check, check, check. That's like the path that I was focused in on. I thought that's like my happiness involved in that. But in college, life did sort of throw me a curveball, so to speak. And to make that long story short, because it is a little bit complicated, but essentially I started to question things when things in my life were starting to get a little bit hard in college. And I began to be really frustrated by who I was. All the things that I felt like I hadn't experienced, I felt unfulfilled and I was feeling sad about things. And so I started looking for like relief through partying and drinking, as people do in college. And that definitely gave me temporary relief to all the questions and like the tension to resisting to answer myself about who I wanted to be. Like I was just resisting that. Like I knew something felt off, but I didn't want to question it. I think in my brain, when I was presented like those tough questions, like, is this what you really want? My brain was like, no, Allison, Don't fuck this up. We have boxes to check. You can't just change your mind. You've already picked your path, and that's that. And so this question of like, did I want that when I was in college was just like messing everything up for me, messing up all my plans, and it was highly uncomfortable. But it was reckless because I resisted it. I resisted answering those questions consciously at the time, and instead I just like partied and just ignored it, you know? So for me, that ended in divorce. I got divorced at like around age 22, 23, and I ended up moving out to California for my engineering job. So in California, I was divorced. Wasn't really part of my original plan, but okay. I was back on track, checking those boxes, solid career choices, working on that retirement plan. But also, I continued for a while down this rabbit hole of denial and partying and trying to really push and resist against those big questions that I had for myself personally. I was happy when I was out drinking, and I was unhappy when I wasn't. And it wasn't really a great balance, y'all. Like, it's not a great balance. It wasn't a great balance for me. Then, as many of you might have already heard this story, but I, by chance at work at my engineering job, I got invited to go on a backpacking trip to Yosemite by a coworker. It was a super random thing. I happened to be in the right place at the right time. And one of my coworkers happened to have an extra permit to hike Half Dome. And they were like, well, you're here. Like, do you want to go? And I was like, me? Okay. I didn't realize it at the time, but this like question that my coworker asked me was that idea and that possibility that I was telling you guys about above. It's like this idea that came and it was like asking me to partner with it, go backpacking. And I think at the time, like I was just so sick of my same old thing that I was doing that I convinced myself to get out of my shell and said, like, yeah, I'll go. I didn't know anything about backpacking. I wasn't outdoorsy growing up. I definitely had a lot of insecurities going into it, which I like vocalized a lot to this person. I was like, I'm probably going to be kind of slow. I don't really know what I'm doing. Like I was very nervous about my first backpacking trip, but I did push through that like extreme nervousness, and following that curiosity to go backpacking opened up this whole new world for me. There's obviously a lot more to that story in particular, because I didn't just become this like fearless backpacker after one backpacking trip. To the contrary, like it did take me a while to get a foothold in the entire thing and like really incorporate it into my life. But that curiosity, saying yes to that, gave me the push that I needed to try on a new way of being, like a new identity that I had never associated with before. Like adventurous, outdoorsy, brave, confident, strong, resilient. These were all things that like I hadn't really seen myself as being in the past. And backpacking and deciding to partner with the idea that I could be like this outdoorsy, adventurous kind of person, even though I was from Texas, age 20, I don't know, I was probably like 24 at that time, like didn't know anything about the outdoors. It opened up a possibility for me. And I realized in that moment that I had a say in my future and who I was and who I wanted to be. And I had a say in my possibilities. And every year since that moment that backpacking entered my life, I have been on this like reinvention journey, and not so resistant to the question I had about who I was and who I wanted to be. Backpacking gave me the space and like the platform to explore that for myself. And for me, like it started with identity, obviously. Like backpacking helped me shift the way I saw myself. And then it expanded my possibility. Like I got curious about my past choices and like wondering if those actually had sway over my future choices. And then I began to realize that my past choices really shouldn't have sway over my future choices. that what I had chosen at a different point in my life, when I had been less aware of my conscious ability to choose, like it didn't matter. Like I was okay that I had sunk cost into a past possibility that I no longer desired, like engineering in specific. This is what I'm thinking about. And it was okay that I didn't want that anymore. So like, who gives a crap if I spent 4 years getting a degree in engineering and 7 years working in that career in engineering? Who cares if I change my mind and do something different because I want to? Because it like no longer aligned with the possibility I now wanted to create. So it doesn't mean that those past choices I made didn't serve me, because obviously some of them have. They have really served me and educated me and gotten to me to that point in my life where I was making this choice. But to create a new reality, like something that I wanted, I had to stop letting that like sunk cost mentality dictate the way I showed up in my future. So I had to like stop looking at it as a sunk cost in general, because engineering had served me well and all of those experiences, and it led me to the point to find backpacking. Like I was so thankful. But now what? Now what did I want? So several years after exploring and opening up and really leaning into this new identity that backpacking had shown me, I realized the next thing that I wanted for myself was more autonomy of my schedule and location. So like freedom, if you've been in my world for a while, freedom is like such an obvious big value in my life. And I wanted to also just sort of like test the waters on this whole, like, can I actually do whatever I want? Like, is that actually allowed? Like, I think when I was thinking about new possibilities, I'm like, is this allowed? Like, can I really just like quit engineering? Can I really just do something different? Are like people gonna tell me that that's not allowed and I'm gonna get like arrested? I don't know. My brain wasn't fully convinced. So I was also just curious, like, to test that. So I started my own business, She Dreams of Alpine. This is going to sound fast. All this took time, you guys. So I don't ever want to like give the preconception that this stuff happens overnight. But I started my own business. It started off as a blog, She Dreams of Alpine. And then I created the Backpacking Badass program. That's my coaching program that I told you guys about earlier. Eventually, I hit the road in a van with my husband, and we lived on the road for 3 years. And we got to live in Puerto Rico for 6 months. And in the meantime, I had the honor to teach and inspire over 1,200 women through our backpacking program on their own reinvention journeys through backpacking. And now that journey, that whole journey that I was just telling you guys about, has led to its own curiosities and possibilities. And now I'm just like where I am today. I guess you could say I'm maybe like 3 or 4 years into my own business. Now I'm just so open and excited for future possibility and what that means. And like, I don't have a concrete idea of what that looks like right now. Right now, I'm kind of like in a year of like pausing, reflecting, just like kicking it back, like listening to what I want again, listening to what I want to create. I do have, like, spoiler alert, like some curiosities bubbling to the surface. I really am interested in getting into sailing full time. Michael and I used to do it a little bit back in my engineering days. We even did like a sailing certification. I'm super curious about what it would be like to see the world in that like way. Makes me excited. So I'm not in a rush to make that happen. I'm just like exploring what that would look like and that idea right now. But the point is, for all of this, teaching the skill set of backpacking to others, for me, is more than just teaching the skill set of backpacking to others. Backpacking can be a tool for reinvention in your life. Backpacking, it helps us connect with something super tangible to create change and momentum in our lives. And it helps bring forward things like, what are your biggest fears and anxieties? What are your thoughts about yourself and thoughts that you might have about others? And like it asks you to question them if you want to keep pursuing this thing, backpacking. And in order to make like feeling confident when you go backpacking a reality in your life, you are asked to confront some of those things and you're asked to take on a new identity. So I love teaching it this way, like teaching you how to like reinvent yourself through backpacking, because it's partnering with a curiosity that you may already have to go backpacking, to be more outdoorsy, to go on adventures, whatever it is, which is just super fun in general. And it puts momentum behind it, and it opens up doors for many people, and you have no idea where that could take you. So for me, worst case scenario, backpacking just takes you on some pretty badass hikes. Best case scenario, it changes your life. Like literally, I had no idea. I'm so grateful for backpacking in the outdoors in my life. I'm so grateful that I chose to say yes and partner with that possibility for my life, even though it scared the shit out of me when I said yes, because it literally opened up a whole new way of being, of thinking, and the way I live. So I share all this with you today because I just want you to consider that for yourself. Like, I want you to consider that backpacking on the outside might just seem like this like weekend hobby thing, but I want you to consider that it could also be the thing that quite literally opens up your world and opens up what's possible for you. It did for me. I've seen it time and time again for my students. It's in so many like crazy and beautiful ways. So to just kind of like come back to what I said at the beginning of this whole conversation is I am just a human being who is offering you an idea, a possibility, a way of being, and it's up to you to decide if you want to partner with that idea. And if you don't, no sweat. Like there's tons of ideas and curiosities and possibilities out there. I just hope that like at minimum in this conversation, I've helped to open up your eyes to this concept of partnership and creating whatever the fuck it is you want to create in your life. And that you actually always have a choice in that. So that's why I wanted to do this talk today and tell you a little bit about my story. So let's just wrap things up here. If you are curious, like about where backpacking could take you and your life, and you are looking for like that next step, I want you to go ahead and make sure that you signed up for my free workshop. The first one is we're hosting like next Tuesday. We have a few times available, but I definitely want you to go to that event. It's our big summer event, and we're talking all about 4 mistakes that even smart backpackers make. Now, in this workshop, I'm not only going to give you the exact tools to avoid those mistakes, but that workshop is also going to be a deeper invitation than just this Facebook Live was. It's going to be a deeper invitation to partner with a new way of being and showing up in your life, one that is filled with adventure and confidence, and of course, backpacking, and also who knows what else. So if you haven't registered for that, but you are curious, definitely do that. You can do that at shedreamsofalpine.com/workshop. Like I said, we have a couple of options to choose from, so pick the option that works best for you. We'll be doing these workshops live, and then I can like answer questions at the end and get to chat with you guys. It's going to be super fun. So now at that workshop, I will, of course, be telling you a little bit more about our backpacking program as well, the one I mentioned earlier, but at the end of the whole workshop. And if that is something you are personally interested in pursuing yourself, but whether you join us in that or not, like I promise the workshop is going to be so much fun. and helpful for you on your journey to discovering how adventure could impact your life. So again, you can register for that at shedreamsofalpine.com/workshop. Now, I saw like a few comments, so I'm going to try to see, like, I'm multitasking here on Facebook, and I am on Instagram. And Instagram, I like lose the comments, but I think I can scroll through. So hold on. Debbie says hi. Hi, Debbie. And she says she also loves the book Big Magic. So definitely recommend that one. I talked about it earlier. Sherry, one of our students and actually Backpacking Badass Ambassador in Facebook chat, she wrote, the past few years have opened up a lot of possibilities for me. So I just thought that was cool that she's here giving a shout out, that this has also been true for her. So let's see. Okay, cool. I'm going to scroll through Instagram, see if I missed anything that you guys dropped like questions, but bear with me because it's like buried. Why does Instagram just tell you everyone who's joined? I was not sure of this. Now you got me curious. Cool. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get you curious. Hello, Liz. Sarah says, been following your account for a while now, and you gave me the confidence to do my first long solo hike, 7 hours. It was the best experience, and I'm only looking forward to more. I love it. Let's see. Blue Eyes. I've done several multi-night backpacking trips with my ex, Half Dome, Yellowstone, Yosemite, Banff. Now that we're not together, I'm afraid to do it solo, but I want to so much. Yeah, I mean, like, let's explore that. Like, I know it's super scary to like take that next step of going solo, but that's something that we teach and help you to learn how to have that confidence yourself. But like, I totally understand why you feel like hesitant. That's totally normal way to feel about going solo. So you're not alone. Let's see. But I'm 57. Come on. Somebody wrote that, 4 and a dog. There's no excuse, but you're 57. You're using that as an excuse not to like look forward at your possibilities. This is a little tough love because we have so many students in our program that are older than 57 and are taking this on and like making these changes in their life and just like kicking ass. So I'm not letting you fall back on that one. Let's see. Do you work with people with disabilities? So I wouldn't say that my expertise is in disabilities, but like we will help you figure out solutions or get connected to the right people, in addition to like everything you would need to learn. So your specific ability or disability, I can't say like if I would know exactly what the solution to work with that for backpacking, but we could definitely, like, what we do in our programs, we have coaching calls. So me and the coaches could get together and pull resources or connect you with somebody who does have more of an expertise in that as well. Let's see. What suggestions who are sticklers? What suggestions you give to beginners who are sticklers for bathrooms and hygiene? I mean, go read my blog post about backpacking hygiene. That's what I would suggest. But I'm gonna wrap this up because this is more of just like, I was curious if anybody had questions around what we were talking about today. But I also just want to thank you guys so much again for joining me live and listening to me talk about this conversation. Again, if you haven't signed up for our workshop, definitely do. That's at shedreamsofalpine.com/workshop. And I cannot wait to see you guys next week at that event. So thanks so much for tuning in live. Talk to you guys later.